And at this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Ms. Colleen so she can introduce our speaker.
I'm Colleen. I'm an alcoholic. I've known Scott for a really, really, really long time, before he came in the rooms, and obviously before I came in the rooms. And so seeing what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now, and, he lived right next door and had a close relationship with my father. And I had my own struggles, and whenever I knew that I was at the end of the road, I saw what this program did for his life. And I had met Kelly while I was still, in the depths of my alcoholism. And when I needed to call somebody, I called Scott. And he picked up the phone. And he handed it over to Kelly, and Kelly brought me to my first meeting. And I'm forever grateful for Scott being here and seeing what this program has done, like the attraction, not promotion. It was alive and well within him, and he has quite the story to share. I got to witness a little bit of it, and I can't wait for y'all to hear all about it. So here's Scott.
Thanks, Colleen. I'm going to try not to cry now. Anyway, I'm Scott, and I'm definitely an alcoholic. I wasn't always grateful for that, but I can honestly say I am today. Thank you, Colleen, for those kind words. And I thought I had my crap together until you did that. Anyway, I want to thank Richard for asking me. I think maybe y'all will figure if that's a good idea or not later. But no, I was really surprised when he asked me, and humbled and honored. And part of me wanted to say no, I don't want to do this. But I was taught when AA calls, you answer. So that's what I'm going to try to do. As a lot of you know, I am a very long-winded, detailed person talking, especially in meetings. I always get dinged at birthday night. I'm going to try to get through all my stuff in 45 minutes. So y'all pray for me. Anyway, I want to thank Kelly for just everything. Okay, for all the support, just the life we have together. She's my rock. Next to God. Of course. Without God, I would have never met you, right? So, anyway, let's laugh a little bit here for a while. So, anyway, here we go. So, like I said, my name is Scott. I'm an alcoholic. I'm not a native Houstonian or Texan. I was born in Fall River, Massachusetts in 1961, September 9th. In a little small town. It's about 50 miles from Boston. So I'm a Yankee, actually. Anyway, life was good there for a short period of time. I remember at around 4 years old, my mom and my dad got divorced. That was really traumatic for a 4-year-old. I can remember my dad sitting me down. I think I was just barely between 4 and 5, and gave me the news and all that. And I just didn't understand it, didn't know what that meant. I didn't know anybody that was divorced. I didn't know what that was like. I didn't know what it was going to be like. So it was really hard. We were buddies and all that. And so, we go on about our life. And the good thing was that I had a younger sister that was about 3 years younger than me. So she was just a baby. And, we lived with my grandmother owned a tenement house. And so anybody that lives north of, New York, that's 3-story apartment buildings. We lived in there. So I had my grandmother there. She was very influential in my life. And so everything was clicking along, I do remember feeling awkward when I got to school. And I'm the only divorced kid in the class, or in the school as far as I knew. So, you make jokes about it, you try to get used to it. I think the reason I bring that up is because I think that looking back over my life, looking back over the work I've done, that was probably, turning point of how I looked at life, right, and how I coped with life. And anyway, clicking along, right, did weekends with Dad and all that. My dad drank a lot. I didn't really see it, but, I figured it out. We'd go to his place on the weekends. He had a place near the beach. And my uncles all drank. My grandfather drank. My whole dad's side of the family, all pretty much alcoholics. So we'd go to the bar on the weekends. He'd take me to the beer joint, and it was, just casual and sitting there drinking a Coke. But that's what we did, right? Go fishing, go to the bar, this and that, and I just thought it was cool. I just thought they were having fun, they were laughing, and I thought I can't wait till I get old enough to do this, right? So then I'm about 9 or 10. My mom and my stepfather comes in the picture. They meet. He was from Houston, and so he was in the Navy up there, and they met. Within about a year or two, they got married. We visited Houston when I was about 11 to meet his family, and it's Christmas time and everybody's wearing shorts, and I don't know what to think. It's Christmas. So, but it was a good experience. A year later, we end up moving here through a bunch of stuff going on between them and arguing and all that. And we end up moving to Texas, which I thought would be good to get, kind of do a family thing and all that. So we moved to Texas, and I think I was in the 6th grade when I got here. So that was a big culture shock. I don't have my northern accent any longer, but when I moved here, I did. And so you got that, you talk funny, and I thought, y'all talk funny. More awkwardness, right? More just like not fitting in, not really knowing where I belong. I got one foot in Texas, one foot in Massachusetts. So that was kind of how life was. And but the crazy thing that happened to me, like within that next summer, was when I had my first drink, right? And that was that summer between 6th and 7th grade. My stepfather had two younger sons, two younger brothers, sorry. And one was my age. So I had an uncle, a step uncle, like the same age as me. We hung out, did all stupid stuff, My other one was about 2 years older. They had some friends come over. My parents went out for the night. Their parents, which was my grandparents, they went out. And so we had the house for ourselves. And they brought some friends over, brought some beer over, some salad stuff, No, this is AA. And so we did all that, and I was exposed to that and drinking some beer and not feeling nothing, did some other stuff. And so I'm feeling pretty good. I got a buzz on. I'm just, this is all right, man. This is what I've been missing, right? This is what I've been missing all my life up until that point. So I really, we just had a good time. I liked it. It was all good. And so I just thought, man, I just want to keep doing this, right? And so, you do that when the opportunities come around, right? So there wasn't that often, but we ended up doing that that was pretty much my life after that, just trying to figure out how to get some more drink and party and all those things. And so about the time I'm 15 or 16, I want to get a car. My family didn't have any money. We were just working class people. So my mom's like, you want a car? Get a job. So, okay. So I go get a job, work at a grocery store, sacking groceries and all that. Finally get enough money to get a car. And now look out, world, man, I got it going on. So I got money in my pocket. I got my freedom. And so about when I'm 17, junior year, summer, I was supposed to go to a party at the Bolivar Ferry, Crystal Beach. We're getting on the ferry, right? This is my first real consequence with the law and alcohol. So we're on the ferry boat, me and a buddy of mine. We got a case of beer. We're all good. We're on the ferry boat. Now, I don't look 16 and when I'm 16. I don't look my age, right? I'm young looking. I got long hair. I'm skinny. And sitting in my El Camino with my buddy, we're on the ferry, and we're thinking we're badass, right? So I look over my shoulder, and there's a game warden, like 2 cars over. Oh, crap. So I tell my friend, I said, man, we got to be cool. He's like, yeah. I said, so let's just stay in the car, not get out. Let's just wait to get this over with. The game warden sees us. He comes over to the car, and I go, yes, sir. He's like, hey, can you, are you old enough to drive? And I was almost mad, like upset, like who do you think? What? So he's like, I said, yeah, man, no problem. I give him a license. I get out. All I got was flip flops and cutoffs on. Man, it's June. And so he searches my pockets and all that kind of stuff. He looks in my car. There's a little bit of roaches and a little other paraphernalia stuff. Sees the cooler. He's like, what's in the cooler? There's beer. So he's like, let's see what the sheriff has to say about that. I said, sheriff? What sheriff? There's a sheriff on the front. I mean, who would have known, right? I get on this ferry, and there's a game warden and a sheriff, Galveston County Sheriff. So this is not going well. So they go get the sheriff. The sheriff comes. They search my car. They take my car. They take my friend, me and him. They took us to 2 different, I don't know if they were messing with us or not. They took us to one jail. We got out, went in. They took us to another jail. We got out and got in. And then they finally ended up at juvenile. So I'm sitting in juvenile, and I got to call my parents, and they come get me, and I'm in big trouble. So, it was not a fun ride home. I end up getting grounded. They take my car. They take, all these laws and rules are coming down on me, and I'm not having it. So they want me to go to church and all this stuff, and they started going back to church. I was like, look, y'all do y'all's church thing. I'm not going to do that. And so I get this bright idea. So fast, kind of back and forth. When my parents got remarried, when my step-parents got married, my dad was kind of out of the picture for a while, and I didn't realize why, but it was because of his alcoholism. So he didn't want to be around. He didn't want me to see him like that, and I didn't know this. So we get ready to move to Texas. He had to sign papers to allow me to leave the state of Massachusetts. So I finally got to meet him after a year of that. And then we decided we would spend summers with him after that, right? So I could reconnect with my dad, which was really cool. I got like a month out of the summer every year after that, so from the time I was 13 up to 18. But I ended up lost my train of thought. Anyway, I ended up going to see my dad that summer, and I said, you know what? They're coming down on me. I can get away with stuff with my dad, right? So I convinced him to let me live there, do my senior year of high school in this little town called Millville, Pennsylvania. And didn't take long for me to find friends that were just like me, that drank like me, partied and all that. So I'm back to doing what I want to do. And so that goes on for a while. Graduate high school. I end up taking welding school classes, and that's how I got in the steel business. But I ended up doing that, and so when I graduate, I come back home for the summer to here, and like I said, my parents are in church and all that stuff. I end up going to church with them, and then I was like, maybe I should try to straighten my ways out a little bit. So I try that, and it didn't last. I go back to Pennsylvania, and I'll work for about 6 months. I get homesick for Texas. I come back to Texas. Then I end up working here, living here, and it isn't before long for people that I'm going to church with, I find out they're partying and drinking too. So I'm like, all right, here we go. It's like wherever I go, there they are, right? So I didn't need much arm twisting, let's just put it that way. So I never really changed, right? I just kept doing what I was doing and not really having many consequences except for that one time. So I think everything's smooth. What happens, though, is by the time I'm 19, I get my first DWI. I'm not thinking anything about it. I'm rolling through a stop sign in my subdivision. I end up getting caught, and then in my opinion, I was not really drunk. But because I only had 2 beers, and I was on my way to a party. So if you just waited a couple of hours, I would really, have a good reason. and they were like, hey, look, if you come with us to the police, this is Montgomery County. If you just come with us to the police station, you blow good, man. We will let you go. You can be on your way. I'm like, okay. And .08 something, just like barely over. They're laughing. Hey, we got you. So that was the first one. Slap on the wrist. That was back in 80, 81. Slap on the wrist. They end up, a year later, I get another one coming home from the Renaissance Festival. I was really drunk. I deserved that one. But this first one was based on a deferred adjudication, which means, there's no lawyers in here, right? But what it means is if I was behaving, then they would act like that never happened. So the second one counted as my first one. So I'm good. So I get a little fine, probation. Year and a half later, maybe not even that. You would think I'd have learned my lesson about this drinking and driving thing. No. I forgot something. I got married in between all that. Yeah, little oversight. So between the second one and the third one, I'm working and all this, and I meet this girl through some, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I'm just nervous, you can tell. I'm trying to get through the time here. So I meet this girl, and we start dating, and she moves in, we get married, and, I'm not any different than I was when I was 16. I am not changed at all. As a matter of fact, I got worse, right? Because I got money now, and I don't have anybody telling me what to do. And so that marriage lasted about 6 or 7 months. I think we got divorced like on the 10th month. I was like, she was like, she's like, I thought I could change you, and you're not changing. And I was like, we dated for like 6 months. You knew who I was. You married who I am. So, we moved on. And then I get together with one of my ex-girlfriends from years ago, and then that's when I got my third DWI. So she was drunk. We were at a bar. I've told Kelly this, so that's why she's laughing. So stupid me, I'm like, let me drive you home. You're too drunk to drive. And she was like, because I met her there, right? So we're both driving. And she was like, no. And she gets in her car and takes off down Westheimer. She lived in Alief. And like stupid me, I'm hauling ass down Westheimer, excuse me, my language, trying to keep her from wrecking her car. Because she's like doing this. So I get pulled over. Go to jail. This time it's serious. Because this is my second or third one. The lawyer's like, hey man, if you don't straighten up, you're going to go to jail if you get one more. They changed the laws back, this was in 88, 89, and they just changed the laws to where 3 is a felony. And that got my attention, right? Got my attention. So I get 2 years probation, 90 days in AA. I get a machine in my car to blow into. I'm like, okay, I'm 28. I better stop this crap. I'm not going to make 30. So I do what I'm supposed to do. I, don't drink. I do the thing that the probation guys are telling me. I go to AA, but I am not admitting I'm an alcoholic, because I didn't want that stigma on me, on my mind, because my dad, my uncles, my grandfather, all those guys, and I'm like, I'm not going to be like one of them. But I was. That's the delusion. I was just like them. So anyway, I'm getting to a halfway point. So anyway, I decide, maybe I need to straighten my life out. This has not been working good for me. So the whole time my mom is very supportive. She's always been there for me. And she was just like, Scott, if you could just go to church and get your life right with God, this would be what you need to do. And she was right. She was right. I just didn't, couldn't do it. So finally I was like, okay, yeah, I got nothing else going on. I can't go to bars. I can't, I got nothing else going on. So I'm thinking I better straighten my life out. So I do that. Things are going good. Like I say, I'm doing the AA only because I have to. I don't really want to be in AA. I don't want to do it. So anyway, I finished all that. And then one of my buddies that I ran partying with a lot, he ends up going to get married. And couldn't talk him out of it. So he does it, and he's like, hey, I need you to be my best man. And I'm like, no way, dude, no. And he says, yeah, I was your best man, and so you need to be mine. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sober, only because of the law and all the stuff that's on me, not because I really, really want to. I'm just doing it because I have to, and I know that if I get one more, I'm in trouble. And so it's just like one of those things where you wake up and you're like, time for me to grow up. Maybe I should just grow up, put this stuff away. Like, I sowed my oats. I had enough fun. Let's move on to being an adult. That's kind of how I justified it in my mind, right? So I ended up going to the wedding, and it was good and all that. And then I meet my next ex-wife. Heard that in a country song. I had to use it. I wasn't intending it to be my ex-wife, but anyway, so y'all may know her. She's in the program now. She goes down that way. I don't know if I should say her name or not, so I won't. But anyway, if you do, you do. If you don't, thank the Lord. That's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, I apologize if I offended anything. Anyway, so we meet, we get together, we fall in love, we get married, and she's a church girl, I'm going to church, and so, that's what it's supposed to be, right? So we get married, and we start having kids, and my work is going good, job's going good, I'm making a little money, my career's progressing, I'm running a company, I don't own it, but I'm running it, and everything is going good, right? I'm doing all the right things, having kids, making money, moving, this and that. Around 2002, that's when I moved next door to them, to her, around 2002, and over on Grand Valley. And, life is good, man. I am not, life is good. I'm not drinking. Life is really good. If we drink at all back then, it was like having a beer with pizza if I bought a six-pack, it'd be in the fridge for like a month. I was just not interested, right? I thought this is my life now, and this is what I'm gonna do. Well, all that changed. Little league, cheerleading, all these things with kids. Everybody's drinking, and you're watching that. And I put these little boundaries on me, like the books talks about, right? Where I'm not going to be in these situations. I'm not going to be in that situation. Didn't even know I was doing it, but I was. And so I decided, what? Maybe it ain't going to hurt to drink with the guys after the baseball game, and they're all shooting the breeze, about what our kids are doing. So we start socially drinking. And I say we because me and my wife. And so we start, that's how it starts, right? That's how it starts. I think I can handle it. I've been pretty sober for like 8 or 10 years. I got this. I don't drink the same stuff I used to drink, like the book talked about. It reminds me every single time I hear it. I don't drink the same stuff anymore. I never liked tequila. All of a sudden, I'm going to start drinking margaritas because I don't really like them that much. And so that's what I'll drink. Well, I didn't like the salt. I didn't like the lime. That's what I didn't like. I moved on to ice and tequila, really within about a year. And then I found, because I had a little bit of money in my pocket, I found the good tequila. And my quest was like, let me find the next best one, the next best one, the next best one. See, by this time, I'm full-fledged back in my disease, and I don't even know it. I don't even know it. I just think I'm living my life. And as time goes on, it was as if from the time I'm 28, now I'm like in my 50s, almost 50. I'm 48, 50. That 20-year span was like it was a week because I was drinking just as much, just as bad, same, leftovers, waking up, where's my keys? I mean, they were rebuilding the curbs on 1960 back then, and I would hit them. We'd start out over here at Champions at Clementine's, and by the time I got to Kirkendall, I'd hit a curb, hit a rebar, blow out a wheel tire. I'm driving that sucker home. I don't care. And I end up, I did this many times. So all this is going on, and I'm just out of control. The next big event after that, 2012, I like to go deer hunting and stuff like that, and I'm with my oldest son, who is a senior in high school at the time. We end up coming back home from Del Rio, and I was drinking the night before. I had a few in the morning. Again, not really drunk, you know. And I'm trying to pass this bus, and I'm pulling a trailer, and I keep going like this. I keep zigzagging, right? Because every time I move over, there's a car coming, so I move back. I didn't know there was a sheriff behind me. He pulls me over right in front of Brackettville. I do the walk. I fail. I'm in jail. My son has to drive my car. He has to find a motel. Just all this, I was just one of the lowest points of my life, right? I mean, it was hard. I was just embarrassed. I was ashamed of myself as a dad. I couldn't believe it. I just really screwed this up. And so anyway, I'm in jail. He does get me bailed out, and we drive home. And that was December of 2012, around the 19th of December 2012. You'd have thought that would have been enough to wake a guy up. No. Like the book says, we forget for a week or a month. Sorry. If I quote the big book, I'm going to probably get emotional, so I'm going to try not to do that. But you guys know that, it didn't matter. A week later, I don't feel as guilty as I did. I need that tequila. I needed it. I didn't just want it. My body was craving it. I had that craving. I had that obsession. It didn't matter, And so I'd go to my freezer outside and get it. And nothing mattered but that. So the next few months after that, that's what I'm doing, right? I'm out on bond, facing a felony, probably going to go to prison. I don't know what's going to happen with my family, my business, everything. It's like I just really effed it up. The funny thing is during that time, my neighbor, Dan, sorry, but he wouldn't mind. He knows my tequila's in the freezer outside on my outdoor kitchen, and he keeps taking it. He's over here taking it. He's communicating with my office, and telling them, like when I don't go to work, because I tell them I want to stay home and work, send me drawings, I'll work from home. He's calling them and telling them what I'm really doing. I'm getting drunk during the day. I'm drinking every day. I'm drinking in the morning. And he goes in my fridge and he steals these half gallons of tequila. And so I go outside, it's gone. And I go upstairs, I get another one, put it back. 2 days later, I had to make sure, like the book says, you have it hidden around the house. That was me. I'm in the book, man. I'm in the book. He keeps doing that. So finally, around April, I talked to my buddy who lives in Reno. He got sober. I didn't know it. We're talking. I'm telling him all my problems. He's like, man, you know what you need to do? I said, what? You need to go to AA. Like, no, man. I've been there, done that. No. And then he tells me he's sober. He's been sober for like a year and a half. And it floored me because I knew what this guy had done. We did it together. And so I get to thinking, maybe I do, man. Maybe I do. So I end up going to AA. I went to Champions, walked in there, told them all my problems and, all that stuff. And they just looked at me like, you're delusional. I'm blaming this, blaming the law, blaming the wife, blaming everybody. And they're like, you need to look at you, man. It's you. You made the decisions. You're the one. Nobody put a gun to your head. It's all right. They're right. So I try this thing. I get 29 days. Our family's very involved in rodeo this time. A lot of committees, this and that. I wasn't on one, but I was involved a lot. And mostly on the drinking team. So we go, I got 29 days. We go to the rodeo, and I'm trying to stay sober at the rodeo, drinking club soda. I end up, we're in a restaurant at the hotel, at the Holiday Inn. I'm in there, and I go to the bathroom. I come back, I take a sip of my club soda, and there's Don Julio in it. I'm not going to say who put it there, but it kind of ticked me off. And at the time, I got really angry, and I just chugged it. And then I went to the bar, and I got 2 more. And that was the wrong decision. I ended up just drinking from then on. I didn't care, all the things I was trying to do, I just didn't care anymore. I just didn't care. Now, I wanted to blame that person, right? And I did for a while. Then I had to realize that it was me. I could have easily, working with my sponsor, I could have easily took that sip, threw it out, got angry that way, and, be on about working my sobriety. But I use it as an excuse. Yeah, really, when you get down to it. So I just kept drinking. And so we fast forward, and I'm not going to work, all these other things. Dan keeps stealing my tequila. And so one day, this is the June 10th, 11th, D-Day. I wake up in the morning, have my usual throw up, shots, do a couple shots, get ready for like I'm going to go to work. Go outside, get 2 more shots, and I'm like, I'm not going to work. So all of a sudden I go back outside for the 3rd time, and my tequila's gone, just in that 30 minutes. Next thing I know, Dan's sending me a text, hey, you're going to work today? I said, no. He said, yeah, you're going to work today. I said, no, I'm not. He said, yeah, you're going to work today. I'm driving you to work. See, I'd lost my license from the DWI pending because I didn't do all these other things. And so I couldn't drive, and I was waiting to get my work license. So he was driving me to work when I did go. He's like, no, man, get in your car. I said, all right, I'll take a shower, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you take my tequila? He's like, yeah. I was like, we got an argument. Go and put it back. And so he says, I'll put 2 shots in a cup for you if you get in the car, and we'll go to work. Deal. So I get in, drink it. We go to my office. I can't even sign the contracts I'm supposed to be signing because I'm shaking so bad. 2 of my office staff come in there. Hey, man, you okay? Yeah. Week before that, they hit me up for going to rehab, and I was like, there's no way. I can't go to rehab. I don't have time. I'm a busy guy. I got things to do. I ain't got time for rehab. Right. So that day they're like, hey, we're going to go to lunch. You going with us? And I'm like, I guess. I don't have a car. So we get in the car, me, Dan, 2 of my office employees that had been running my company all this time. And while those 6 months or whatever. And so we're driving, and I'm at 59 in the Little York area. We're getting on the Beltway, and we're going past 290. I'm like, where are we going for lunch, man? Oh, we're going to go to this new place, blah, blah, blah. And we take the exit, and now we're on Hammerly, Kempwood. I haven't been over in Spring Woods that much, but all of a sudden I look around and I see PARC. And I'm like, what are we doing here? And they said, oh, we're just going to, and Brenda, she's like, well, we're just going to do a tour. A tour? She goes, yeah, you really need to think about this, Scott. And I was like, no. She's like, yeah, you really need to think about this. She goes, we're going to just do a tour, no commitment. You can leave when you want. You can leave if you want. We do this tour, right? And everybody's trying to sell me, yeah, man, you need to be here. You need to be here. And I did. There's no doubt about it. I needed to be there. But, man, I just had too much fear of all the other things and all the excuses, and I was like, I'm fighting it. There's no way. Plus, I'm drunk.
That's good.
And so I end up doing all that. They give me enough Gatorade to get my BAC down and to get checked in, and and they were like, you need to be here, and I'm looking out the door, and I'm going, man, if I walk out that door, I might not make it back in here, And, that was a powerful day. I ended up calling 2 of my kids, my oldest son, my oldest daughter, to tell them what was going on and ask them what they think. And before that, I had called my wife, and of course we were not doing good at all, right? So so she thought it was a bad idea. And so anyway, I end up. My kids are like, "Yeah, Dad, you need to stay there. We'll be okay." So anyway, I did, And I got fully in, man. I went fully in. I knew that this was probably going to be my last opportunity to clean up, and I had all the reasons to do it for me. And I had so many blessings that I was throwing away. They didn't deserve that. So, anyway, I get in there and I do the deal, listen to what they say, I try to identify, and all this other outside stuff's going on out while I'm in there, and I can't focus. A lot of stuff going on outside the doors there. So they tell me, look, man, you either be fully in here or fully out there. Because when I had breaks, I'd be on the phone talking to my CPA, talking to people at work, trying to do business, and a lot of other crap going on that I really can't talk about here. And so I said, okay, I'll check out. So I'm there 12 days. I had a real spiritual experience there in one of the classes that they had us do about spirituality, which I didn't really want to go to, but two people that was in there made me go. And I was like, yeah, I'll go, fine, whatever. And this lady had a talk, and I can't remember everything she said, but man, it just knocked me down, and the light went off. And so it just gave me some motivation. So anyway, I check out, and I tell them, I said, look, I'm going to check out of here because I need about a week to go get some personal stuff taken care of, and then I'll be back. And that's what they did. They were like, yeah, we heard that before. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I said, give me all the books, give me all the workbooks. I'll take them with me. I'll do the works. Because they give you stuff to do, right? And so I go in there. I go do it. I go to work, and I do my stuff at night. And after 7 days, okay, I'm ready. And I did all the stuff I was supposed to. I go back down there, and I said, okay, I'm back. And they looked at me like I was from Mars. And I said, I'm ready to go, man. And so they put me in IOP, and I went through IOP. Then I went through aftercare. And I've spent way too much time on all this stuff, man. I'm really sorry. But because there's a lot of good stuff happened to me after that. I walked out of that place, and the first thing I did when I got out of the park that night, there was nobody at home when I got home, except my dog. And I had heard about Alano Club when I was at the park. And some guy was there talking about visiting and all that. And so I looked it up, called the number. I showed up on a Saturday night after the 7 o'clock meeting, because at 8 o'clock they had a newcomers meeting, which they don't do anymore. But I go to that one because I saw the people in the parking lot. I was like, I can't go in there, man. I can't do it. So I go in there, and it's just one guy on the couch, and it's Mike. He was my sponsor. He became my sponsor. He was my sponsor for 5 years. I walk in there, we talk, and he said, I'll be your sponsor temporarily. And he was my sponsor for 5 years. He helped me get through the steps. He helped me see a lot of stuff that I didn't want to see. He made me do things I didn't want to do. Like one of the things was going to the Cali Drive psych ward. We would bring meetings there every Tuesday or Wednesday. And I didn't want to do that, but he's like, yeah, we're doing it. And it changed my life because I saw what was going to be my next stop. And I was there to help other people, right, doing service work. And anyway, so I do all that, and then he told me don't get in any relationships. And I'm like, dude, you know my story. I don't want to. Don't worry about that. So I'm sober about a year. Kelly walks in the door. And I noticed her, right away. I mean, look at her, right? And, but I really didn't want to, get in a relationship or anything like that. So anyway, we talked a little bit, met every now and then at, going out to dinner and stuff and chit-chatted, and we found that we had some things in common. And at this point in my life, I just wanted an adult to talk to. That it wasn't a man that I could kind of, just go to a movie, do some dinner, this and that, just casual. And it's funny, I got the nerve to ask her one night, walking out in the parking lot over here, and I said, hey, you want to go to Starbucks and get some coffee? she looks at me, she goes, I don't want to get in a relationship. I'm like, I didn't ask you to marry me. I just wanted to know if you want to get... She goes, well, I don't drink coffee. I'm like, dang, man. It's making me work. So she's like, I said, you drink tea? Yeah. So we go do that. We talked for about 6 hours that night. We started dating. I'm going to fast forward, even though these are good parts. We start dating. Within a year, we get married in June of 2016. And my life has been forever changed. I've got 5 kids. She's got 3. It's crazy. We don't always all get along. There's always drama, seems like, mostly on my side. But we work through it. I have a person in my life that I can communicate with, that I can trust. We pray together. We just are in sync, and the thing we agreed on when we started dating was that we both were in AA, and we both had the same God, right? Similar beliefs, and I think that was important. I know it is, because it helps. And we prayed from the time we first started dating, and we still do it today, every day. I'll be in a deer lease, and I'll call her, we'll FaceTime or something, or I'll have to wake her up in the middle of the night because she falls asleep early. But it's a commitment, right? And it's part of my program. This place has done more for me. This AA and this group, the men here, have done more for me than I could ever repay in a million years. If they said at the park, if you write down everything you want out of life, I'd have never thought of this. I'd have never thought of it. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. And then to see Colleen here, when I have conversations with her dad, and we try to stay in contact, it's like, look what God did there. Who would have known? Who would have known? There's been just so many miracles in my life. I've got grandchildren now that have never seen me drink. I pray to God will never see me drink. I'm trustworthy. I'm a good employer to my employees now. I'm accountable. I'm not perfect. Man, I make a lot of mistakes. Leave the garage door open at night. I buy too many guns. Should I say that on here? The coolest thing about being sober is I can still do everything I love to do. Everything. It's legal. As long as it's legal, right? As long as it's legal. I don't have to drink. I don't have to drink when I hunt or fish, or I'm at a sporting event, or barbecuing, or grilling, or anything. Sitting on the couch, driving, especially, right?
Thank you.
Don't miss those roadies. But no, really, it's the life that God wanted for me all along, and it took me 50 years to get out of the way. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of things to say right now, other than God has been very good to me. And as you could tell, one thing, I'll got a little time here. So, talking about God and miracles, when I was out on bond I was on bond for 3 years after I got here. December 19th, 2012 was the day I got arrested. 3 years later, and Kelly didn't know this when we first started. Well, I think I told her while we were, just dating, but, and she didn't run. I'm surprised. But I just didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know. And my sponsor just said, you know what you can do? Because I was really nervous about going to jail and stuff. Right? And I like my space and like my freedom. And he said, you know what you can do about that? And I said, what? He says, don't drink. That's all you can do. Don't drink. Pray, don't drink. Now, that didn't give me much consolation. But I did that. I said, okay, the worst thing I can do is drink or get another DWI, right? just do something stupid. And so I didn't. And I did it because of the people in this room, the men's meetings, the literature, doing the steps, just listening and obeying. I was a rebellious kid all my life, a rebellious adult, and I finally figured out if I would just listen to what people are trying to do to help me, I might just make it, you know. And so 3 years goes by, and I am white-knuckling it, thinking about what's going to happen. Kelly and I were praying. I called the bond lady. I'd call her every week, and I would say, hey, her name was E.T. It's funny. I go, E.T., call. So I called her that day, and I said, hey, E.T., Scott. I said, hey, I'm coming up on that day. I said, what's going on? What's going on? Because we'd communicate. She goes, Scott, you're not going to believe it. She goes, I went to the DA's office. I won't say the county because I don't want to find it. And she goes, I go to the DA's office, and I looked on the computer, and your file is not there. And the DA it's a small town, okay? And DA said, what are you looking for? And she says, oh, I'm just looking for an old case. And he said, what's the case? And she says, well, I don't want to tell you, but I just can't find it. And he says, well, if it's not there, it's not there. If you can't find it, it's not there. So she told me there was going to be no charges pressed, no file, nothing. I didn't know what to say. You know, I just fell. I'm like, what? Is this real? She goes, yeah. I said, can I get that in writing? She's like, no. You leave that alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. When you drive through that town on the way to Dearly's, you don't speed, you don't do nothing. And I just came home and told Kelly, and we cried. That's a miracle. That's really, when it says God doing it for you what you can't do for yourself, that's big time, man. That's big time. And there's been so many things he's done for me over these years that I don't deserve it. I don't deserve all the stuff that has happened to me. That's good. I don't, because I'm just like everybody else here, man. I'm not special. But God has been moving my checkers. And so he's got something planned for me to do, and I got to just keep doing it and trying to help others. That was a crazy day that day. But those things are available to every one of us. You know, I'm sure all you guys have stories that you could say God was just jumping through hoops for me. And I can't be more grateful for the opportunity I've had tonight. And bear with my long-windedness. The only thing, you know, there's a on page 167, if I got time to read that, 164 rather, that last paragraph, my sponsor read that to me when I finished, well, I don't finish, but, you know, when I got to step 12. And I just think it's appropriate for me, and it's appropriate for everybody in here. Abandon yourself to God. I don't know if I can read it. As you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and your fellows. Clear the wreckage of your past. Give freely what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit. You will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you. Until then, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that's over.